damage.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Aegis Esports Heart of the Huntress League. How are you feeling, Zero? Are you excited for playoffs?
Yeah, I'm excited, but we're not quite. We're in play-ins right now, so we still have a step to go to playoffs, the real ones, you know. But still, we are gonna see some amazing Legends of Runeterra today, some collaborative sets.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talked about this before, I think, but the collapses are always interesting of just how well can you work with your team. It's like, it's something you never really get tested normally in any other tournament.
Yeah, outside of you Masters that we had, and of course the Asian Masters too. If you remember, it was one edition last year in summer around this time. But aside from those two, like no other tournament has really been this team focused, with collaborative sets, especially at this level of play. Because of course you can play with friends, a group of friends versus another, but this is different. This is the peak of Legends of Runeterra, and they have to, coordinate together, and especially put together all the knowledge of the different lineups to get one final lineup to play all together. And that's what interests me the most. Like, what lineups have these teams created for especially these collab sets?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I imagine most people are bringing lineups that would do well in other tournaments. Do you think there's anything that people would do differently just because there's a team lineups?
You could throw some curveballs just because you have a lot of knowledge of three players that can cook together, but here we see some of the stats, for example, and how the Mighty have fallen. Siren Song completely disappeared from the stats, and in the place of that spell, we see the Cannon Jinx aggro deck, and of course in second place, Aatrox Vayne. What do you think about these decks that absolutely dominate the stats this week?
I mean, honestly, the Jinx deck, it's a really fun take on Jinx, where it's just like, you put in so much burn. Like, obviously Jinx decks have always had so much burn, but like, it just seems like they never run out. And you can be at 15 and, oh, that's enough onboard damage. Looks like you're dying to, Jinx Rocket, get excited, a few Mystics and all that. And then, Aatrox Vayne is just, that's your go-to solid mid-range deck, I feel, right now. Just like, there's all these like low-of-the-ground decks. If you can just get on board and block all the damage, you remove stuff that like Fizz, Samir is going to put out, you just eventually get there with the, Vayne or Aatrox endgame.
Yeah, also we see as the last decks in this top 5 of stats, the Heimerdinger Jace with Shadow Wells. I've also heard some players experimenting with the Ionia version. What do you think is the best version?
I don't know how well the Ionia one works. Like, it's gonna be, I think it's just a straight meta call, right? Because like, if you want, stuns and recalls against the types of, Jax Orin decks, then you're gonna do well. But it looks like the meta shifted away from that. I think we saw last week had a bunch of Jax Orin, and that's almost all gone now. And against these low of the ground decks, you definitely want stuff like Quietus, like Soul Harvest, just to get rid of those early game threats.
And speaking about the meta shift here, we see the absolute king of the meta, the Cannon Jinx deck. As you mentioned, a lot of burn, a lot of spells in this deck. Also, a lot of followers that need to lower the Nexus HP for your opponent, and then you can finish it easily. What do you think? Do you see anything like particular? Do you see anything special in this deck list?
I'm not sure if there's anything special, but of course the standout is always Returnal Wrench, just activating everything you could ever want in this deck. I love that card. It's so much fun. But otherwise, this one's running Squeaker and Scrap Heap for the Mechagordles, so I think it's about average. Some people are running the 4-drop, but yeah, this is just like low to the ground, pushing as much damage early game, and eventually you get blowback, you get Electro Harpoon, and you just win.
Yeah, I've seen versions running, 2 clock lanes, this one just locking in on 1. And now we see Ilau is winning the second deck for TRON. This deck, as we have seen also last patch, did kind of well in the meta that was much more mid-range focus, with bigger units, then you can kill them, you have the Flocks. You have, thanks to multiple Swain, of course, you have Pirouettes to stun them, you have Disintegrate, Parlay to counter the early game, you have Heavy Metal especially that can even kill, Return of Wrench, for example, disrupting the synergy of the aggro decks. What do you think of this one instead?
Yeah, we also have stuff like, Mirai Warden, just like really locking down that anti-early game. And as long as you can just keep generating tentacles, it's essentially an infinite blocker with like Watchful Idol. You just keep blocking all the X1s and you get through eventually. So yeah, I like this one's odds against, the other, Jinx Samira, Fizz Samira, or Jinx Cannon, Fizz Samira, those sorts of decks. And lastly, we have Narjin, so definitely rounding out a more control slanted lineup here for TRON. Riptide Rex at the top end. What do you think of this? We've definitely seen this deck before.
Yeah, we've seen these decks 1,000 times. Of course, the first versions had Nora in, slotted in as like one off or even two off with one of Nar, or even very little, like two or even one Jin, the first iterations. And then it shifted away from that kind of more portal-oriented style of play towards the real combo, the Riptide Rex plus Condense. This deck is all, I have to control the board, maintain my opponent, small on the board, and then I play my combo, I completely destroy everything they have, I deal a ton of damage, and I start winning the game from there.
Yeah, for sure. And just, the Broadwings, Avenging Messiahs, these are just annoying cards to deal with if you don't have direct answers. All right, and moving on to the other side, Shadow Isles Money Mafia, starting off with new elusives. We saw this deck a while ago, but with the introduction of Submonument, it's able to come back, and Submonument, you just get to ignore your opponent completely, and you just get there with elusives.
Yeah, this is the ultimate elusive strategy, You put the Sump down there, and unless they have like an Aftershock or direct control deck, because no other deck really runs Landmark Destruction. We didn't even see like Scorched Dirt on the Ilaoi list. So nothing can kill this opponent outside of literally the Aftershock. And outside of that, you just go in over and over again. They have no way to stop you because there are so few elusive blockers in the meta. This is just pure, like, I don't even know, pure electric boogaloo elusive.
Exactly. I mean, it does come down a little bit to, drawing Purifying Flames off your opener, but I mean, that Yuumi there is just to rub it in, to say, oh, I'm sorry, you can't deal with my elusive. Guess what? It's even bigger.
Yeah, and it grows every turn. Second deck for Shadow Isles Money Mafia, of course, the Cannon Jinx. We've seen it. This one, I think it plays Parts Made All. I don't think the other one was running it. It was running other spells instead. This is really interesting. It gives you the opportunity to, if you discard Return of Range, that this deck plays in 3 copies instead of 2. Of course, gives you the access to 1 blocker for, bar speed, and of course draws 2. Super, super good card. And for the rest, we don't see the Clocklings, but we see more Squeakers.
Yeah, the other one was running a few more jury rigs in place of the parts made whole, so just a touch faster. So it'll be interesting if we see it comes down to, will these small differences of, the extra blowback or the 2 parts made holes, are they going to make a difference? I feel like it's not going to make a huge difference, but if the Tron's version can get out early with the jury rig, it might be enough to slowly push damage, especially with the Turn of the Wrench. And finally, we have the return of Fizz Samira. I was personally a big fan of this deck. No longer running the Powder Pandemonium. Now it's up to 7 mana, but we kind of got the same elusive-ish package. A bunch of early 1-drops in transitioning to Father Fury and Shelly.
And of course, you have access to infinite, draw with Inferna and Barbed Chains. I wanted to also thank Runeterra AR for giving our access to these awesome graphics. Really easy to check. But yeah, this deck definitely really, really strong. Of course, not really at its prime, as you mentioned. The monkeys are not here anymore. We mourn the monkeys since they got really nerfed. We have the small monkey spell with Monkey Business. But yeah, very, very scary, especially if it gets its combo online really early.
Yeah, well, this deck has been nerfed a bunch, but honestly, it's still very strong. It's just been biding its time, waiting, letting everything else get flack for all the nerfs, and it's like, oh, it's Fizz. He's back. Are you ready to play against Fizz? I'm sure you'll have a great time playing against Fizz. But yeah, just more elusives. We've got quite a few elusives in this meta, honestly. More so than usual.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember, like, the first deck that I've seen in this whole expansion was the Teemo elusive with Ionia, Just elusives, go in, don't care about anything else. I think it was more Pice and James playing it in ladder, absolute degenerates, shout out to them. But of course, here we are in deck selection screen. What do you think are going to be the bans from both sides?
Okay, so if we're looking at Shadow Isles, but okay, yeah, SIMM, that's a tongue twister, right? They're kind of scared, I'd say, of maybe like the Jinx Kennen. I feel like the Jin Nar is where they can really push their aggressive slanted, and just if you get there before the broad main lockout, you can kind of run them over with all three of these decks because, you know, they're definitely much more aggro slanted. Against the Tron's Jinx cannon, you're just playing a mirror, and then you have to win you have to win a bunch of aggro matchups into the Jinx cannon. That seems a little rough because there aren't going to be mirrors. Against the control decks, you can just hope you get there faster. But the Lowy Swain's also really early game slanted, so I feel like that might be the ban over the Jinx cannon, even though they're very close.
Yeah, especially if you think about, like, they have the Make It Trains, they have the Pirouettes, they have all the tools to deal with you in the early game. I think you would take your chances to play the mirror, even if your Jinx isn't banned. You just play the mirror, you see who wins, and then you can get through 2 times against the Jinnar. I think that's your best option. And in fact, we see the Low Swain being banned for TRON, they get it banned, and Shadowless Money Mafia sees their elusive deck banned. This absolute degenerate deck that you were talking about earlier. TRON doesn't want to deal with it at all.
To be honest, I wouldn't either. Some Monument's just such a pain to deal with sometimes.
It's not even fun. Like, if I have to be honest, it's not even fun because then you have to, like, you're literally shivering every single turn because you are afraid of the shrooms if you're playing it, and if you don't get lethal in time, you're just playing this minigame. It's not really fun.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know, you gotta come equipped with the proper emotes if you're playing a puff cap deck.
Yeah.
You know, you got the Karma Popcorn, you got the Teemo one, you gotta come prepared. Otherwise, you're just kind of losing on that game, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. The Soraka one. The Soraka with the towel.
Oh, true. Wait, when you lose, yes, of course.
Yeah, the emote game, they need to step up their emote game, but I think we're gonna be in game shortly, and here we have the predictions, and incredibly enough, everyone agrees that TRON should win the game, so Shadowless Money Mafia are the clear underdogs, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, by the numbers, after these bans, TRON's in it 60-40 to win, which is pretty good odds. But I imagine people are also just like, oh, you know, a few of the TRON names are a bit more knows or recognizable possibly than some of the Shadowless Money Mafia. Let me see.
Right, remember guys, after today, from the 24 teams that entered this stage, only 16 are gonna move on to the next part. So 8 teams are, if I'm not mistaken, 8 teams are gonna be eliminated. NA Mats, even though I'm from EU. 8 teams are gonna be eliminated, and it starts all year. TRON, Shadowless Money Mafia, they have to win to start climbing up these play-ins.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to win this one, but like, you really want to. I mean, obviously you want to win, but
you want to win this one.
You always want to win. I mean, a lot of people who don't want to win are like the first place who are just going to bring whatever nonsense because just for the seeding. But yeah, I mean, good luck to both teams. We'll see how that shakes out soon.
Yeah, apparently Discord crashed for a player while they were trying to stream it to their teammates, I think for Donut. So we're gonna have to wait 2 more minutes, you know, so they can reboot everything, you know, make sure that they are right. This is very important, of course, because the whole team is behind every single one of these 2 captains. So yeah, they have to all play together and coordinate. It's very important to get them in a comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. And if you also want to participate in tournaments where your Discord will crash, look no further than Community Gaming. They're your all-in-one platform to help supercharge any events. You can look for grassroots tournaments and the like. So yeah, go to Community Gaming to start your tournament play. You can get to join in these sorts of tournaments.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So, thinking about, you know, the decks that we are gonna see, like, what do you like? Do you like playing this Jinx Cannon? Like, is it one of your favorite decks of this meta?
I mean, I just don't like aggro decks, and Jinx Cannon is one of the few aggro decks that I like playing. It just feels different than other aggro decks. Like all the Discord mechanics is just unique. There's not many other decks that like want to cycle your cards quite like that. You've got so much card draw as far as aggro decks tend to go. So you don't fizzle out very easily, especially with Return to Wrench. It's like always an activator to dig further. And the fact that you only need to get in, you know, 7-ish damage on board, and then you can say, oh, who cares about the board? I'm just going to kill you by directly pointing spells at your face, and it works. So I think it's definitely good, especially because I don't believe there's any healing left. Now that all the Siren Song decks are gone, I don't think there's really any healing in the meta. You know, even these
lifesteal, there is no healing, because remember, guys, healing is cheating, and so the devs make sure to remove all healing from the meta.
Well, I'd be I wouldn't be too surprised though if the elusive deck eventually starts teching in Divine Clerk, just so you have a you have to play a 5/4 Divine Clerk on turn 3.
With you, me on top.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds like so much fun to play against.
I don't want to see that, please. And maybe even some chimes, you know, because then Asmus can hit it, you know, and make it grow even bigger, and so you get +2/+2 every attack turn. No, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it, man. Don't give them ideas.
It's gonna happen. You heard it here first. Play Divine Clerk in your Teemo Yuumi deck to beat the other aggro. I mean, we'll see how well that works out, because this sort of the elusive deck needs a bit of time to get going. You need the Purifying Flames. If you have Purifying Flames on one, congrats, you win the game. Otherwise, you need a bit of time to stack up with your Yuumi, stack up with your other buffs, and work up to a elusive board swing that you can kill with. Because even though you have Sump Monument, it's 3 mana. If you're playing Sump Monument, you're not playing your other units to kill them with. So it's gonna be interesting to see how close these two decks race. Oh, sorry, this was banned. Yeah. Never mind, we won't see this deck at all.
We won't see it.
It's too strong. It was banned.
Exactly. They didn't want to deal with it. Talking about another one of the decks that we're gonna see that has elusive synergy. So what you said is still partially true. You know, we could talk about Fizz Samira a bit more. You mentioned it's Fizz, so it's super uninteractive and fun to play against. But on the other end, it's yep. So we love this little Yordle because it's so annoying that it goes full circle and it becomes super fun.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff still applies. This is much more of a I'm seeing 3 Jagged Butcher, 3 Elegant Edge. The versions I've been playing and other people have been playing have been just purely evasive keywords, like the elusive and fearsome.
And we're gonna see it, so it still counts. What you said is still true. We're gonna see the Fizz play the first deck for Shadow's Money Mafia. Meanwhile, TRON decides to queue their Jinx cannon. And remember, guys, we're gonna see potentially the mirror if Shadow's Money Mafia wins here.
Yeah.
What do you think about these opening hands?
Let's see. Ooh. I'm kind of liking Tron's side a bit more. Like, this early Forge Chief just means you get a free hit in here. You get to bank mana. You're denying a Samira coming down. This is a little rough. Like, you know, Fizz Samira, you can never count out Fizz Samira. They always have a way to, you know, start churning back into the game. But like, if Shadow Isles Money Mafia, I think they should just attack here. I think if you try to challenge, you're kind of just telling, oh, yeah, this is just gonna walk straight into a Mystic Shot.
Yeah, and meanwhile, like, usually you would say, you know, okay, this is some Mystic Shot that doesn't go to my face, but it's other 2 damage. Like, they can even develop potentially now the Urshin. I don't know if you would, but it's other 2 damage in open. This is just 2 more damage from the Forge Chief next turn, so the Mystic Shot is literally saving you 1 mana. It's costing you effectively 1 mana, and it's saving a unit.
What I'm worried about from Shadow's Money Mafia is they don't have any units. They just have the Elegant Edge, and like, Tron's gonna be like at least 3 wide. You don't want to take any damage from this Jinx deck, just because once you get, like, if you're at 10 health on like turn 4, you're effectively dead. There's like no coming. Tossing a Mystic Shot though, or a Forge Chief. Okay, this is an interesting play. Because like, okay, I think they've been rewarded just by drawing that Forge Chief, just because you get to go so wide. Squeaker Forge Chief next turn into Jinx on turn 4. You're flipping her by turn 5. This is a very powerful opener here, and Sim just can't do anything about it right now. They need to draw another unit or like Pirouette.
And this is what I would define a tempo play as its finest, you know? Like, you're just playing that Mystic Shot, gave you such a giant edge in tempo. Now the Pirouette is a little bit, you know, adjusting it, at least for the next turns. Now the 4 damage in open attack are still gonna be a lot. 1 mana is gonna be banked, so even though if you play another 4 chip, you have 3 mana back up. You don't really need them, though. You could just discard the Squeaker with the other Squeaker. I don't think you need both. But
I think that might be the play, just because, like, you know, without a Samira, there's no way to kill this Jinx. So as long as you can get to next turn, like end of turn 4, Sim has already used their attack token. Tron gets to play Jinx for free with no worries about her dying, and into turn 5, you get to get a rocket.
Yeah, let's see what they are manifesting as Mecha Yordle. Furyorn is very interesting, especially because it's really, really cheap, of course. The Trump Attacker is very interesting also because we're going super wide. I think both the Trump Attacker and the Furyorn could be the play. The Shadow Tech Walker is very costly and doesn't do as much damage, even though it's elusive. So we'll see what they decide to take. What would you take here?
I feel like maybe you could do Trump Attacker.
Mm-hmm. You go super wide.
Yeah, you're going to be super wide here. The Shadow Tech, I think, is an option, but because we've seen how slow Sim has been playing, there's no need to play defensively with Shadow Tech Walker. Mm-hmm. Okay, but this also makes sense.
Furyorn. Yeah, another tempo play. Next turn you can go Squeaker Furyorn, you go 5 wide, and then you can open attack, and you know your opponent doesn't have anything. Your opponent doesn't even play the single unit right now, doesn't have anything on the board.
Yeah, I think what Tron's thinking is, even though like Sim only just now top decked the Pirouette, because Sim's been playing so slow, they must only have reactive spells like Pirouette. So just going super wide and open attacking is a good line to be able to get through stuff like that. Sim finally picking up something to play though. Father Fury and Elegant Edge to get 2 blockers down. Bilgewater Touchstones isn't quite it though.
Yeah, it might just be too little too late, even though, of course, the game isn't over, but 6 damage are a lot, especially in a meta when, as we said, there is no healing. And for this deck, like, going down in HPs, of course, Shadow as Money Mafia have seen 2 Mystic Shots being already used, but there are the blowbacks, there are the Jinx's rockets. This is not gonna be easy. Furyorn is gonna be played now, and unless you Pirouette immediately just to get rid of some units, of 1 chip, for example, like you're taking a 5 unit wide strike on the next open attack.
Yeah, I think Sim gets to wait though and see the Furyorn come down and say, okay, now I need to Pirouette. Actually, like at this point, like Tron's going to open attack. You know it's going to happen. So your Pirouetting is only saving 2 health.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you have to lose your board.
But you have to save 2 health. Like, let's be honest, you can't afford to lose 2 more HPs next turn. Even though, of course, it feels super bad, you might be playing, for example, like Pirouette plus Barbed Chains, just because you need to draw more.
Yeah, you just need cards. Like, Sim's hand doesn't do anything, really. There's a Burblefish. Why does it say 6? That's supposed to say 0. What happened?
Samira dying, turn 2 up, and...
That was honestly the defining moment of the game, I think. I think from then on, it was very Tron favored.
Yeah, that's when the tempo completely swing, because there was such a big commitment, you know, he played Samira, then even, you know, the Samira spell, and then everything went down.
Yeah, this is kind of what you have to watch out for a little bit. Just like, you know, one of the best skills in this game is, you know, just reading your opponent's mind. And if you can just read their mind and say, oh, of course, they have units, but they have the Mystic Shot.
The open attack is giant here. The Pirouette wasn't committed last turn. The blowback has been top decked. And of course, if you play blowback this turn, you have to discard the Jinx, but you can just play the Jinx. She's in no danger right now. And then you can play the blowback next turn and rocket, and that's just lethal.
That's lethal next turn. Look at this. This is so sad. Just 2 Pirouettes. Just, you know, they're just cheerleading from the sidelines.
Oh no, Pirouettes don't do anything. He's even thinking, oh, maybe if I save the elusive unit, but you really can't.
Wait, okay.
Wait, the Furyorn didn't buff. Wait, no, he did. Yeah.
Actually, Shadow as Money Mafia has a line. If Tron plays Jinx now, they get to play Tellstones into more powder, into pirouette, killing the Jinx.
True. Actually true. Factually true. And Tron would
But
just they lack 1 mana to level up the Jinx on the spot.
Exactly. But even then, Sim would have the second pirouette, but they need to block here. Otherwise, they're just dead to the blowback.
Yeah, they really need to. They
Oh
said,
no,
they don't.
that's game!
That's game, of course.
Oh.
Tron knows.
That was
So Tron just let it go. 3 HPs on the Nexus. Shadow Isles Money Mafia are gonna get completely dismantled in game 1 of this best of 3.
And there it is. No need for Jinx if you can just kill them.
But we said Shadow Isles Money Mafia game plan could have been this, you know, you just lose to Jinx, you know, unless you play the mirror match and you win, you know, there is a good chances you're just losing 1 game to the Jinx. Then you put Jinx, you know, you don't have to play against it anymore, and you can just pass twice against the Jhin. I think that was their game plan, you know, going into the ban phase. That's why they banned the Lowis Vayne, and now the challenge is for Tron winning a game with Jhin. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Jhin is definitely the one that Shadow of the Money Mafia were looking to 2-0. That would be probably their easiest path here. So it's not the worst thing they lost to the Jinx Cannon. But I think they played just a little fast. You know, with the stuff like Shelly, you can afford to play it a little slower. But we're getting into game 2. Let's see if they can get the revenge kill, beat this Riptide Rex deck. It's really not a Jhin deck, it's a Riptide Rex deck.
Yeah, we all know, like, Jhin is there just because it gives you so much power in deck building. The deck building rule is very strong. And of course, if you have Jhin in hand, then it also pings the Nexus, which is super nice. And being able to control the board even more, you know, you stun units, you can kill them if you attack. It's nice. It's a 4/4, so can block units that are not elusive. We see 2 Infernos, 1 Samira, 1 Styling Shot in the end of Shadow Isles Money Mafia. Just right now, what hand do you like more? Okay, let's see the mulligan from the side of Tron. It's just double condense, Conchologist, and Portal.
With that Father Fury, I definitely like Shadow's Money Mafia's hand a bit more. Because, like, the thing with this deck is Tron can't close out the game until, like, turn 8-ish with the, you know, Riptide Rex into Riptide Rex into another Riptide Rex. But before then, you know, Sim's gonna make a huge Shelly board or just kill you with elusives. The Pie Toss is a nice top deck, but it's not going to be enough quite, I think.
Yeah.
Plus, these Double Infernos? Yeah. Oh, yep, here we go. A bit of a heavy hand, but I like, Tron's going to have to deal with all these threats, and I don't know if they're going to be able to before Broadmain comes down.
Of course, Broadmain is already there. We have stuns. So at least we have 1 bomb. That is gonna be very, 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 very important to stop the Samira or the Infernos or the Shelly, either one of these units. Let's see how Shadow Isles Money Mafia decides to play. Now it's Tron that has the move.
Types of people, the quick and the dead.
Yeah, I see a funny line later on where you condense Shelly and you start popping off and growing your own units.
Do we have enough spells though? Like, because of course Shadow Isles Money Mafia has some reiterative spells. For example, like we can see the Stylish Shot, you know, that you get back over and over again. And nice, you know, mana advantage from the side of Money Mafia. They play the Samira, they just pass. They can afford to play slow. They have the one, they have the Admiral Shelly that they wanted there. Let's see what they are gonna try to do.
It's an interesting pass from Tron. Just with their hand, they have some early plays with, like, it's only really Conch. But yeah, I think Tron's goal right here with their current hand is just stall out until Broadmain.
Yeah, pretty straightforward gameplay, you know, just shoot everything that you have them to stall. You don't want to go low in HP, even though this deck from Shadow Isles Money Mafia doesn't have as much burn, you know, as for example the Jinx that we just saw. That's definitely the strategy, and we're already turn 5, so Broadmain potentially could come down next turn, even though of course playing Broadmain on 6, spending all your mana, it's gonna be, you're gonna have the attack token, so you don't really fear your opponent, but that's a pretty heavy commitment.
Yeah, Brahmin's gonna come down next turn, but like this is a wide board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to deal with units one by one. Even just Inferno, you know, it's a 1/4. Without Broadman, it's very difficult to get rid of her.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, you know, when Broadman comes down, if Shelly comes down in response, that's just going to be incredibly taxing, just forcing double pie tosses out of Tron. We know that Tron has the pie toss and a wallop as their counterplay.
Yeah, of course, we're gonna try to get the end back, guys. It's gonna be back in a while, at least we hope so. Let's see if we can get it. But yeah, this Father's Fury, you know, creating more and more spells, drawing more and more thanks to Inferno's effect. This is getting scary. We have a lot of buffs in hand. We have double all out. Just that it's a lot of attack if we need to buff these elusives. And the first Pythos is gonna be committed now. We can buff with all out and we can save it.
We're gonna have a leveled Samira here, Zero.
Oh,
Already a B.
Oh, I didn't even think about leveling up Samira. Ooh, that's scary. That's really scary. We're starting to have our thing discounted too. I have a lapsus with name. The jellyfish. Yeah, the burblefish. I was saying the
jellyfish.
Yeah, it's not the jellyfish. I know it's not the jellyfish. The burblefish. Yeah, Samira's B. So she's gonna level up for sure this turn. That's gonna be quite interesting. We don't develop any further, and we have our end back. Triple Broadman is not what you want to see if you're a Tron.
Oh. I think we level the Samira. We get a 0-cost flare for next turn. We're really about to threaten to rally, even with the Broadman coming down. So we play flare warning shot, because the warning shot is also fleeting. We level Samira. We get a 0-cost flare, and we kill them in like one action after they play Broadman.
Yeah, that, man, leveling up Samira gives you access to so much power, you know, the rally potential is there, you have spells that cost 0, you know, this is so much power coming for Shadow Isles Money Mafia now. This was their strategy in the ban phase, and they're coming out swinging.
Yeah, I mean, I already see a leveled Samira in hand, basically. Tron can't actually kill Samira in hand currently. They would need to fish for something with Conchologist, and then also play Perilous Patriot, and SIMM is threatening to just rally at burst speed here.
Wait! Oh no, okay, I thought we got 2 double units and that would have been insane. We just get 1. That's nice.
Yeah,
okay, we get 1 unit from the portal. It's nice nonetheless, you know? But it's not what you really wanted. You would have needed, you know, the Kamavoran soldier to spawn another unit.
I don't know if it would be enough. I think it would still be kind of doomed, honestly. Like, you just trade off, and then you go the open attack next turn. A Broadman coming down taps Tron out. There's no second pie toss, so
you can't play Broadman. Like if you really think about it, you really can't play Broadman. I think Tron is gonna have to go with Conchologist. I don't think the Broadman play is the correct one. You don't have any fast spell in hand. If you had Pythos, yeah, sure, Broadman could be the play. But right now, I don't really see how to win with Broadman. Oh, and they just Portapalooza. And they get 3
portals.
What? How many portals did they have? Wait, they had 1 construct. Did they miss something?
No, they played Portal Palooza before. Did this one put both of them on top? Hold on.
Oh man. Oh man, this is really something. Oh, now they're attacking with them. Just to say, okay, I dare you. I dare you to block this.
But there's no need. Yeah, here we go. That is 4 mana to exactly rally with Samira. God, I just love rallies. Rally is such a fun mechanic.
Yeah, Shelly is down. I repeat, Shelly is down. This is not a drill, and Shelly is gonna be able to not only rally, but Buff everything on the board twice, because we have 4 spells to be played.
Oh no, disaster! I mean,
Oh no.
this is just a hope and pray perilous pastry. This was never going to work.
Yeah, this is just okay. We recognize we are dead in open attack. Of course, if I'm not mistaken, if I did the damage count correctly, there is no way to get lethal on this attack this turn, but you get lethal in open, so it doesn't really matter.
Let's see.
Because this is 6, and then it goes to 8, and then it goes to 10 damage.
A few more.
No, this is lethal this turn.
Ooh.
With what is it? We get another flare, and we get the
Because we get another flare. Yeah, we get another flare. Yeah, definitely.
we get an all out as well. We can all out for the last spell.
Yeah. No, we silent shot here.
Isn't it?
Either way.
Yeah, and then there is it's lethal. Yeah, it's lethal because I didn't count the Shelly. I didn't count the not the Shelly, the Bubblefish.
The jellyfish, right?
Yeah, the jellyfish. Yeah, man, this is gonna be the meme now. This is gonna be the meme for the whole day. I hope not.
Well, that was a commanding game from Shadow Eyes Money Mafia.
Lucky for
It looked absolutely doomed for the side of Tron. So I believe it's going to be Jinx Cannon next.
Yeah, Jinx Cannon. We have seen how powerful that deck can be. Now going up against the Jin deck again. The Rex deck again, of course. Jin is just a bystander of the Rex, the king of Bilgewater.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be easier because the Jinx Cannon cards don't say elusive, which is kind of nice. But they're definitely going to need to go really wide. Rather, Jin Nar is going to have to go wide enough to keep up with Jinx Cannon. Decent hands so far. We'll see what they toss back.
Bird the Bell Ringer in the starting end for Shadow's Money Mafia. I think you usually keep it in hand, Then you have Scrappy for plus Flame Chompers and the Jinx. I think it's a pretty good starting end for Shadow's Money Mafia, even without a mulligan, even without mulliganing away some cards potentially.
Yeah, I mean, Scrap Heap Flame Chomper just gives me PTSD for Porokan and Lulu decks. What an awful time those were.
Yeah, this time around, it costs 1. Meanwhile, Poor Cannon at its finest used to cost 0. Then it was nerfed, of course. But let's see. Okay, Bird is gonna go down. Put some chimes in the deck, just to be annoying and buff the units that you draw. Let's see. I mean, a cannon being buffed would be insane. Okay, it's just gonna be the Zombie Turchin. Cannon would have been insanely strong. Just a 3/2 with quick attack. The opponent would have to commit double ping.
Yeah, I mean, Tron still gets to play Contrologist and Group Shot to kill Kennen and block this buff Zonite Urchin. Because Kennen providing a free discard for this 3/2 Zonite Urchin.
Ooh, Electro Punching, a Trade Wallop. All the cards are very good. I would say probably I would take either Electro Pruning or Trinket Trade, even if Wallop is very, very, very good, but it costs 3 mana, which is a little bit too much. With Trinket Trade, you can play potentially, the Otterpus, and then you can prank a little bit of cards that your opponent has, even though they can, of course, discard them. This is gonna be just 2 damage dealt on turn 2 for Shadow's Money Mafia. Could have been 7, but pings are gonna say no.
Thank God for pings.
Pings exist. All them pings.
It's just spoken like an aggro player. It's like, damn, I would have dealt so much damage if my opponent didn't stop me.
Damn, my opponents had the cards they needed.
Why do they have to play cards? Alright, that's a little heavy hand for Shadow's Money Mafia.
Yeah,
coming down,
Gold, not the best to draw in this situation. You don't have any return or wrench, to really get the value out of it. Double Jinx is a little bit of, of an end tilter. And of course, you don't have any discard fodder at all for the Sum Dredger. You could even discard one Jinx if you're really, if you want to cycle that much, but that's very scary.
Yeah, Tron's sitting pretty over there. Just double group shot, perilous pastry, wall up. A ping a day keeps the doctor away, as they say.
I completely agree. I really like how group shot, is everywhere now in every single fantasy deck that wants to, keep the board at bay. You don't really get the value from the secondary effect until the late game, but most of the times you don't really need it once you have Broadman on the board.
Yeah, I mean, you just want like a critical mass of pings to activate. Yeah, Broadmain, and also just like you get to keep boards thin against the likes of Jinx Cannon. Ooh, drop the bomb isn't bad either.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. You're just getting rid of this bird. You're getting rid of a lot of cards potentially. I think they chose to get the Octopus instead.
You just want blockers.
Yeah, and they can prank. Of course, if you prank, for example, the Chompers, that's just discard fodder. You don't really want to do that. But if you just render useless something like the bird or even like 4 mana Mystic Shot, that's really good.
Yeah. There's no easy way to deal with Jinx though. Tron needs to get a Broadmain soon, or let me see if they're running drop the bomb.
In theory, they can triple pinger right now if they are really that scared. I don't think they are at the moment, just because they see the opponent having 4 cards in hand. But with cards like, for example, blowback being around, you can't trust just the opponent having a big hand anymore. Ooh, and here, Shadow's Money Mafia is saying, okay, if you want, you can block our bird with the Gnar, but then you're taking 4 damage to the Nexus.
I mean, I'm not sure if we need Narness. This is a tough one.
You could trade Gnar with the Some Dredger, and that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, like the stuff with like blowback or Mystic Shot, I don't feel super comfortable trying to use Gnar to kill Jinx, and especially if this is the attack. I think we just get the Pokestick and call it a day.
Yeah. The bird attack, I think, is always wrong, just because you give the Gnar the potential, to flip and to kill the Jinx next turn. Like, if Gnar wants to flip, then it gives just Jinx vulnerable, and that's very scary for you if you are Shadow's Money Mafia.
So the one thing is that you do push a bit of extra damage depending on how Tron blocks, but yeah, just Pokestick face with... Oh! Okay.
That's interesting. I didn't expect that line to be played, but that's okay because they don't want the Gnar to be under anything. Yeah.
Yeah, but just 12 health. This is starting to get a little scary.
Yeah, this is getting into lethal range territory. Of course, not right now in hand, there are only 5 damage, but with this blowback, like that could change very quickly.
I understand that. This makes sense now. I forgot about the perilous pastry in hand, so you don't need the Pokestick. That's the thing. You don't need the Pokestick to proc the Nexus to level your Gnar. Use perilous pastry.
And of course, if your Gnar blocks there, it goes down to 1 HP. That goes up to 3 when he levels up, and he's of course susceptible to the blowback.
Ooh, 4 mana Mystic though.
That hurts. That hurts a lot.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a pain. So as long as Tron cannot, yeah, as long as Tron can't take any more over the board damage, I think they might be fine.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, Tron from here on out should be able to control the board a little bit. They have Portapalooza, they have access to, units from the other dimension, we could say, from a randomly generated small units to block.
That's what it feels like when they come out of the portals. You just have no idea where these came from.
Yeah, alternate timelines, but if I say timeless, then I trigger PTSD from a lot of players, so I will not say that again.
Yeah, you don't have to go that far. That's a tough one. Are portals or timelines worse? Those are both pretty hated.
It's some MCU level, contrivance or something that units are dragged out from their own universes to the board. of some poor players trying to defend themselves against aggro.
Yeah, just multiversal threats from Jin Nar over here.
Yeah, they're suddenly like super high level in the battle royale scale of universes. But anyway, we see second bird coming down. Of course, a little more of chimes in the deck. If the chimes hit the Jinx, that's very scary because no broad main is on site for TRON, at least at the moment. This could be just a pass. I don't think you want to develop Jinx while the opponent is representing for mana.
Yeah, there's just too many ways. Like drop the bomb ping, triple ping, broad main next turn when you can't empty your hand in time.
Yeah, especially this is the second Jinx. Like you have only one other Jinx in the whole deck, and I don't think Shadowless Money Mafia runs the Clockling.
Yeah, I mean, if I were trying, I would just top deck broad main. I think that would be a great play on their part.
Yeah, could be a skill difference, you know. Just top
exactly.
Top decking broad.
Yeah. I don't know why more players don't do that. Ooh. Okay.
Ooh.
So they're trying to empty their hand as soon as possible. Play Jinx, play Blowback. You have no mana left over to cast the Rocket, though. But you will have a 4 health Jinx and a decent open attack here.
And the dead Gnar.
No, I think Nar's alive. I think it's gonna be.
If it's full rollback, like 2 units, Gnar is dead, no?
Oh wait, it's mini Nar. You're right.
Yeah.
I forgot he shrinks.
Gnar is not happy about shrinking, you know? You should
Yeah, you know.
speak lightly of shrinking.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Now, I know that not all champions can keep it up.
Ooh, Rampage also drawn by Shadowless Money Mafia. Not the best card. Like, you're gonna have to discard your cycle potential.
Zero. I love what you're saying. However,
at least you have the rocket, right? That's good because you can cast the rocket then, and I think it's lethal potentially.
yes. Do you see though what TRON drew? They took my advice and in fact did chop deck a broad main.
Skill diff.
Exactly.
Skill diff all the way. Skill diffed all the way. Now we're gonna see some pings going down, you know, just to make sure that none of this damage touches you. I think that's gonna be probably the play. You can play the BAM and a group shot to make sure that nothing touches you, or you can just play the BAM.
Yeah, this is just a little scary though, because then there's no way to kill this Jinx when she comes down.
Yeah, that's true. I think I would settle just for the BAM, you know, so I can play the broad main still and set it up for the next turn.
The question though is like, can you afford to go that low? Yeah, here comes the wall up.
Not. Trunks the...
This is understandable.
Trunks not.
It's just too scary. But I think this might be giving the green light for Shadowless Money Mafia to cash in this blowback, killing the Gnar so no Pokestick is generated, and you get to play Jinx. Even though you don't get the Rocket, she'll level, and you'll still have the 2 cards drawn.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, the draw potential of the Jinx once she's flipped, it's insane, you know, drawing twice per round. That's very, very good. It helps you rebuild your hand and, of course, get more discard potential to get more and more rockets raining down on your opponent Nexus. Yeah, the blowback is gonna be played, as you mentioned. I mean, it's not the worst position for TRON, if I have to be honest. Like, they still can control the board from next turn onwards. They're gonna play the broad main and go from there. But of course, Shadowless Money Mafia, they're kinda IP, they can level up the Jinx now without the broad main on the board.
Yeah, I mean, Shadowless Money Mafia, they're going to get a action to play to try to discard something because TRON can't kill this Jinx on site. Oh no, TRON's fine. Yeah, Perilous Patriot into broad main next turn.
Yeah, and that's the same thing as you mentioned. Like, if they get an action, like a fast speed action to discard, then they get the rocket. But unless they have a discard tool that allows them to discard, they don't. No rocket.
This is the kill, and this might be just enough for TRON to stabilize.
Yeah. And this is what it is, you know. You had to go through the early game. You had to go down to 9 HPs. Of course, it's not over yet, but we have seen quite a few mystic shots go down. One blowback has already been played. 2 Jinx have been killed. And so you have to feel like Shadowless Money Mafia. Yes, they do run a lot of pings and a lot of burn in the deck, but a lot has been utilized already. And they don't have any more engines at least for now.
Yeah, they're just kind of stuck on draw, and I think TRON has a decent idea that Shadow's Money Mafia doesn't have any spells. Otherwise, they probably would have tried to level Jinx. So maybe it was a mystic shot, but it's not a blowback, it's not a rummage, it's not a parts made whole. So yeah, this is what I was thinking. You just copy that, you kill the 4-1, or even the challenger, either one.
Yeah, the 4-1 is not really a threat. You have the group shot there that you can utilize every single time. You don't really care about it.
Right. So I think Shadow's Money Mafia just plays out their hand, tries to get in. I think they're only be getting in 2 damage here, and it's not going to be enough, probably.
Maybe they skill diff their opponent again, so it's a battle of skill difference, and they top the 3rd Jinx.
That's a good play, actually. I did not see that line.
I mean, you have to think about it all. Attack from broad mains.
No, this is funny. These attacks are free.
Yeah, they're literally free. You know your opponent can't block ever just because they have so little resources. You see their whole hand. Of course, one broad main is gonna go down, but you don't really care about it. Like, the other is a 3-5. It's taller than every single one of your units. It's taller than the Sump Dredger. You can't do anything. Of course, you're gonna be able to grab it, but even then, you're just pushing 2 damage with a Boom Baboon. Man, the times when the Boom Baboon was a 3-1.
Yeah, I do remember that. Honestly, the one that I like is when the one Scion card had Challenger instead of Fearsome. Those were fun times.
The Trifarian. No, it was the Trifarian. No, I know the Revenant.
Revenant, yep.
Man, that wasn't fun. I was a Darkness player, you know? I was trying to play my Veigar, and my Veigar was always getting grabbed by these 4-3 units. And I was like, what is happening?
Hey, it's not as bad as getting him quietest.
Exactly. So, the thing is, the 4-3 units stick on the board. Like, the Quietus, of course, you know, your opponent has 3 of them. Those units were infinite.
That's true. All right.
Anyway, we were talking about nothing basically, but not much is happening right now. Avenging Vastai is being top decked by Team Random by TRON, so they can ensure that no burn is getting through them. You know, they just play down. It's a 2-2, of course, down there, which can't block without just, you know, trading with anything, but it's just something there to ensure that no rocket can go through, no mystic shot, nothing really.
Yeah, we're getting to everyone's favorite part of broad main decks, where the game's over, but we still have to wait another 5 turns for them to close it out.
Yeah, they need to drop the Rex.
Technically, Tron's still taking 2 damage here.
Yeah. Wait, yeah.
Or no, they can play.
They can play the Avenging
Condense?
Vastai. They can. Oh yeah, they can play Condense and then the unit and then the group shot. Yeah, this is the best play. They're just taking 0. You have to trade the 1/1 broad main, but it's fine.
It's fine. Or just Riptide Rex waiting room.
Mm-hmm.
So how's your day been, Zero?
It's been fun. You know, I'm trying to learn Japanese. I've tweeted a little bit about it, you know. And here we see the best card ever created, ever, by TRON. Just the Tasty Faithful, you know, just a little bit, the Lulu's neck. I always refer to it as the Lulu's neck, you know, just because Lulu loves to eat it a little bit. And this is just gonna be 4 HPs for TRON, just randomly for free, and this is gonna close out the game. Like, you're never dealing 13 damage.
Yeah, as you told me earlier, life steal is cheating.
Healing is cheating in any shape or form, and this is just, you know, the unfun time when you. It's literally nothing is happening, nothing can happen. The Nari is even creating, you know, more Pokesticks for you to cycle into your deck and destroy everything the opponent has on the board. This is the part where if you are Shadowless Money Mafia, you say, no man, we really can't surrender, because this is the last game of the best of 3, so we have to believe, but we don't believe.
This is just like, sometimes maybe the best play is to save mental for your next set.
But like, you don't even have to do anything. You're just going out at this point. You're just pressing OK. You have to block the standard units, and you just hope for, I don't know, a miracle for the opponent disconnecting or something. I don't think reasonably there is any way that Shadowless Money Mafia can come back into this game. Like, you can see there is absolute domination even with portals, creating more and more whole units that you can't even go through. This is just over in any way. Like, now TRON can just kill everything on the board. Like, they have the Pokestick, the group shot. Group shot, by the way, it is activated. They have to drop the bomb, so they can just clear everything, just open attack and just attack and kill them with face damage without even needing the Rex.
I think TRON still doesn't have lethal in hand. They still can't kill next turn.
Maybe I kill them next turn. They can kill everything on the board.
They can remove some units here, but like, you just play like drop the bomb, group shot.
Yeah, you just drop the bombs. You know, we are dropping bombs here.
Dropping bombs like Oppenheimer.
Have you seen the film?
I have not seen either one.
It's not released yet in Italy. Barbie is. Oppenheimer has not been released. It's gonna be released in like 20 days for some dark magic reason. Everywhere in the world they had like the same date. Here not for some reason. I am gonna go see Barbie like in the next few days. Ooh. And apparently, okay, Lotus won the first set against ABG Targan, as you can see in the in the down right corner of the screen. We have some updates from the other series. That's nice, because after this one is over, and it's gonna be over soon, with this attack, we are gonna try to jump into some other series in a little bit of time. Let's see if we can do that. This series lasted quite a bit of time, to be honest, so
yeah,
I don't know if there are many.
That's just the nature of broad main decks. They always last a while. But
and TRON
yeah, Shadowless Money Mafia drawing Jinx at the very end just to rub it in.
Oh, right. We got confirmation that no other matches are still going on. I think this series lasted quite a bit of time, as you mentioned. It's just Jin Bundle City things. You know, you just can't end, even though you have already won the game. So we might jump into a little break before the next series.
All right. Well, we'll see you in a couple minutes for the round 2 of Playins.
See y'all.
and welcome back to Aegis Esports Playins. We just saw TRON take down Shadow Eye's Money Mafia. What'd you think of those games, Zero?
It was very, very close. Even the third game, I mean, the first game was kind of random from one team. The second game, likewise, from the other team. Meanwhile, the third game was super, super close, and only thanks to, a very good starting end and a very good series of plays, TRON was able to take the win with the Jhin Bundled City deck. You said when we were in a break, maybe their opponent could have played a little bit slowly. Do you think that we will see something like that in this new series, or the decks are completely different and we're not going to see something like that again?
Well, one of the teams has similar decks, and the other team has decks I've never heard of, so that remains to be seen.
Yeah, and we are starting with the spice of Aphrodite Esports Beta. The first deck is Samira Varus, which I think is a very interesting take on the Darking concept. What do you think?
I mean, this deck has definitely popped up before, with Samira fitting a bit of a similar role to what Akshan used to do with like Akshan Varus, except you now have access to some of the Noxus stuff, such as Elixir of Wrath, Tellstones. All out's a bit exciting, but I think this is it's trying to be a mid-range deck that tries to beat other decks with stuff like Furious Wielder, I think.
Yeah, it goes really, really, really tall, especially with the Varus and the weapon, when the weapon is equipped, and especially when it's flipped. And of course, with the Furious Wielder, you can decide to release that bow just to kill a very big or threatening unit, or you can just go all in with a quick attack with Super Saiyan 5, as I call it. The Varus once is leveled up, and just one-shot your opponent. This is very cool. We have not seen something like this for quite a while now, especially with all these cards that we have not really seen a lot, like Transfusion. But it's really cool to see one of these kind of decks back.
Yeah, I did used to like those sorts of Voltron style decks, just Fizz Riven and the like. Anyway, moving on, Jinx Teemo. This is the same Kennen Jinx as we saw before, but with Teemo, because we'll see where Kennen is in a hot second. Then
of course we see the return of range. We already talked about this. These restaurants: one Clocklink, triple Jury Rig, double Parse Made All. Very, very standard. Just one copy of Ramage here. Everything else more or less in 3 copies. A lot of burn. We've already talked about it. Electro Punier. And overall very standard, very solid list. We have seen it win before. But the Kennen, on the other end, is in the last and final deck of this lineup, which is this Kennen Jax. And this is the really, really, really spice of this lineup, I think.
Yeah, now look at the list. It's better than I would have thought if you just come up to me and said, oh, Kennen Jax, right? Blacksmith, you got the Returner Wrench, because like if you can, well, if there's no Forge for Returner Wrench, I don't know. I couldn't tell you the point of this deck. It's
okay. Returner Wrench. Returner Wrench is there for Electropoon. Returner Wrench is there for Squeaker. Returner Wrench is there just to give a little bit more of the impact on your units. This is basically how to play 2 discard Jinx deck with just one Jinx being available in your lineup.
Yeah, and then you still have the one-man raid boss that is Jax as well.
Yeah, especially once leveled up, that Light of Ikatia hurts a lot. But speaking of their opponents, we said much more standard deck lists, and here it comes, the first Vayne Queen Aatrox.
Yeah, I believe we were talking about it a bit before. Just
yeah,
this is the nightmare line deck for some of these aggressively sided stuff. Just Broadmain or Broadwing, not Broadmain. Wrong deck on the mind. The Tough of Elkin, just shutting down all these attacks, even just like Aegis and stuff.
Yeah, really, as you mentioned, really, really interesting stuff, especially because like these Darkins and these units, as you mentioned, they just love to eat small and little units. Like if you think about Aatrox, you summon him, +2 health. He strikes, +2 health. He does literally anything, +2 health. he is the anti-aggro champion, and he wants to eat all those little units.
Exactly. And next we have Ilaoi Swain. You know, this time we have Tentacles eating small units with the likes of Tentacle Smash and C's voice. And this is, you know, we see the triple Mariah Warden. This is like, it seems like what a lot of these players have come to. Just, you need to have Mariah Warden just so you have some game against these really aggressive, you know, Jinx decks, Fistmere and the like. And then of course you have like, you know, the classic top end of Leviathan Swain lockout.
Yeah, of course, we've already talked a little bit about it. Leviathan as the top end is absolutely insane, being able to cycle more Swains, giving access to Flock that, remember, is rotated out, so you can't play it main deck. And of course, also a very big note here, third deck, Cannon Jinx. We've already talked about it, absolutely insane. Double clocking here, we see a time winner, so this is at least teched to win against aggro. Also with double jury rig. This is really interesting.
The aggro deck teching against other aggro decks, how far we've come.
Yeah, it's full circle. Now aggro decks are controlled too.
Oh, that's... I'm sure some people just absolutely hate hearing that. But yeah, you know, running the clock link and parts made whole. We saw it got a little clunky for SIMM last game, so let's see if that's a problem for them at all.
Yeah, remember, we haven't seen any return of range in all the games that we have seen Jinx Cannon being played in. But here we are in deck select screen. What do you think are gonna be the bans? I know we might have heard something. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was a spoiler about one ban, but let's try and stay focused here. What are gonna be the bans in your opinion? Oh, and you don't even have to think.
Zero. If I were to guess, just throwing it out there, I would probably guess Samira Varus and Ilaoi Swain. Just like, you know, those Noxes, just it's so tough for these matches. Oh wow, look at that. All right.
Yeah, they even made you like, it's useless to think. Just watch it. Just look at the screen.
Anyway, you know what? Maybe we'll finally see Return of Rents in Jax Cannon. Maybe that's the first time we see Return of Rents tonight.
We have 9 return wrenches, okay, in these 4 decks that we have here. If we don't see any in these games, I'm going mad.
Yeah.
Okay, there is no way you should be allowed to not see return of range here. But anyway, we said, okay, maybe this strategy here, okay, the Aatrox is very strong against this kind of decks. You can afford to lose to the Aatrox if you're Aphrodite Sports Beta, but then you have to win every other match in basically just the mirror match. So that's not gonna be easy. And the first matchup is gonna be Aatrox Bane against Cannon Jinx.
Ooh, Elkin into Spear is basically just an unkillable unit on the side of Red Pup.
No, Cannon Jax, not Cannon Jinx, Cannon Jax.
Yeah, of course it's Cannon Jax, it's obvious.
Yeah. Timo Jinx for Aphrodite Sports. Yeah, I'm confusing myself. Nice.
Yeah, no. It's like, you know, meta staple Cannon Jax.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, full mole inside of Aphrodite, or, oh, wrong side. Let's see. Like, okay, Aphrodite has like a decently early game-ish hand, but I'm just looking at Red Pup have Steadfast Elkin plus Darkened Spear, and I don't see how Aphrodite ever gets to that unit. And then Red Pup plays Ranger Knight, and I don't see how Aphrodite ever gets through that. And then they play Aatrox, and I don't see how Aphrodite ever gets through that. So
yeah, once Aatrox is down, you start getting back so much health that's literally impossible for you to do anything else. And this Darkened Spear, as you mentioned, 2-4, tough. It's just a wall that's standing really, really tall against Aphrodite Esports.
yeah, you were telling me how healing's cheating. No, tough is cheating. Tough is absolutely cheating.
Everything going is Tagris cheating. Let's be honest. Also, Make It Rain is cheating. Let's be honest.
No, Make It Rain's like the epitome of balanced gameplay.
With a little bit of slot machine in there for the target selection. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Every good card game has a slot machine aspect to it.
Agree,
see.
agree. Okay, we see the first invoke, quote unquote invoke. I call it invoke, but it's really manifest Mecha Yordle for the side of Aphrodite Esports. They have the option to choose between Salty Spinner, Furion, Crasher, and Shadow Tech Walker. I really like potentially the Salty Spinner just because it can grow insanely, but yeah, they just choose a Furion here.
I just think like based off of how their hand shapes out to be, they don't have like they play the spinner and then like I feel like this just gets them on board faster, especially because there's this like 2-4 they can't ever get through, just going fast. Oh my god, a Vayne off the top, a 4-4 Vayne off the top, another unkillable unit for the side of Red Pup.
Oh no! And remember, this 2-4 is gonna buff the units on top of Red Pup Games deck over and over and over and over again. So it's not like the situation for Aphrodite Esports gets better. It's only getting worse. They're on a clock, and they're on a very fast clock at that. And is play down. Let's see what they want to do with this. They could play Electropoon, you know, just to capitalize on the free token that's there just to discard.
They could. I think they just want to go wide with Horn, yeah. And it pumps a 3-2, but like this attack still kind of sucks.
It really does. I think you are using it just because if the cannon never survives, you could try to get the damage off, even though it's never happening, of course. But I think there is a consideration. Like, even if you play, you're buffing to 4 attack the Squeaker. So it's definitely going to be played.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think you have to play it on the 2-4, just so that's your way to kill it potentially, eventually. If you can recall the cannon with the Lightning Rush.
Yeah, the problem is like Aphrodite does have kills on Vayne here, for instance, but that's their entire turn. It's these like, you know, heavier units in this aggro deck. We've seen both or multiple of these games with oh sorry, this isn't Jinx. This isn't Jinx Cannon, but still.
No, this is Jax. This is Jax Cannon.
Yeah. These aggro decks kind of getting stuck with these heavier units in hand, or yeah, just you don't be playing these on 4. You want to be playing them later in the game.
Also, from the production tells me that whoever wins this series is immediately qualified to the next stage, because these are the teams that are X and O. They've won the first best of 3. So if they win another and they go 2-0, they are immediately qualified to playoffs. That's very important to think about. They have their qualification on the line. Of course, even if they lose, no biggie, they will have another chance. But this is a very good spot to qualify immediately and to go bad if you are Aphrodite Esports player, because they're European like me.
You have much to learn.
Yeah, and this is the super.
Oh, no.
This is a very good play. Of course, the 4-up is gonna come in.
Yeah, so luckily for Aphrodite, Red Pup doesn't have another weapon to save a Vayne for from a like harpoon next turn, but I think it still comes down. And then you have a pretty good setup to play like Ranger Knight into Rally.
This is still nice though, because you're you're getting rid of the 2-4, of course, of the tough unit, just because you can replay the cannon, play the Mark of the Storm, you get the kill, which is fine. Of course, this Vayne staying alive and discounting the tumble even more is just gonna make it more painful, and Vayne is just gonna he's just gonna go die. Okay, interesting.
Oh, this is... You know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing Red Pup winning this game with a Ranger Knight Rally next turn.
Yeah.
With a Darkened Spear. This Aphrodite does not want to cash... Once they see this Ranger Knight, they don't want to cash in this Mark of the Storm, because then the Darkened Spear goes on the Ranger Knight.
Yeah, and that's really tough. to deal with. Nearly impossible.
I will say,
would say.
these units are pretty tough, Zero. It's a good observation.
It wasn't an intended pun. Anyway, not many options here for that esports. It's just either you play it or you don't. Really straightforward.
That's right. It's just one decision. That's a good point. It's a 50-50.
What would you do?
Just, like Aphrodite, why aren't they just flipping a coin? That's the best way they should make this decision. You know, I was thinking from Red Pup, once they saw the cannon come down, I think they could have slow rolled this Ranger Knight and seen the cannon, said, okay, I'm fine burning 1 mana because I know you're going to play the Mark of the Storm. And then you play Ranger Knight afterwards.
And this Ranger Knight now is gonna be absolutely giant. Can rally this turn, can go for scout attack, rally, get rid of everything on the board of Aphrodite Esports, and then of course next turn Atrox comes down, you start regening again and again, and I think this game is not in a very good position for Aphrodite Esports. Let's look at what these trumpet tech, these quicker pulls. I think it's gonna be the bouncer bolt, potentially the Mecha Yordle being taken here, and in fact it is. And now the move is on Red Pup Games.
I think Red Pup might have to develop this broad main first and then go into their tumble, just because
The Broadway.
if you, because like if it's they're thinking, oh, what if Aphrodite has a low cost Mecha Yordle? Then if they tumble here, Aphrodite will take it into a decently sized swing where you start getting worried about dying to burn once you're getting down to like 6 health, honestly. So I think they might be playing this broad main first. Yeah. And then they can still tumble this turn. And the blocks with the broad main and the Ranger Knight both line up well.
Yeah, and of course the Petrified Broadwing, very powerful card there. Lot of power for very low cost. Let's see if the tumble comes in before the attack or after the attack from the side of Aphrodite Esports. No tumble.
Ooh.
That is going to be committed if the Darkened Spear is played here. I can see like you playing, the Darkened Spear on the Petrified Broadwing, so there is no trade with the bouncer.
The problem with that then is you don't want to trade your Ranger Knight into the 4/3.
Exactly.
So if the bouncer pulls, then you'd have to be taking 6 damage, or yeah, you'd be taking 7 damage here, 2, 4, and impact, unless you want to trade off your Ranger Knight.
Yeah, so probably the Ranger Knight is gonna be chosen to bear the Darkened Spear. Let's see what's gonna be the decision. They're
I
thinking
don't
about
think-
it like,
Yeah, I don't think it's a great way to keep this Broadwing alive. Do you think that Red Pup is running out of time? Are they running out of time for their actions? Because they've roped twice already this game.
yeah, like the timer is literally even. But even if the timer is even, like it counts how you use. Like if you have played like super fast one action and then you have roped 2 others, then your timer for the next few actions is gonna be super slow. It appears they have quite a few seconds left to think about. But still, this is not an easy situation. This is 7 damage being taken here. You don't want to go that low usually. Even though next turn, of course, Aatrox could come down, immediately regening 2 HPs, putting you down to 8 again.
It's just like, knowing these guys, they're definitely the type of people who would accidentally run out of time arguing over the best lines.
Yeah, that's one of the things of team play, right? Like you have to make everyone agree, or at least try to make everyone agree.
Yeah, this
and
is
now
like,
Aatrox on the board. Now what do you do? Aatrox is on the board. This is a very bad situation for Aphrodite. They tried to run, they tried to be the beatdown, to put a clock on Red Pup, but the clock has always been on the side of the Darkins.
oh no, I'm seeing Aphrodite hover the fish fight to kill this Ranger Knight, and it's not gonna go well for them.
Absolutely not. We see the form up there. The form up is gonna be committed, and it would end absolutely terrible. You have no weapons. Like, this is another thing, you know. You have found no weapons. You've not found the jacks, and now you're in a terrible spot.
Oh, there's Returner Wrench! It finally showed up. Hooray!
Oh man, the first return range of the day, finally, with a ton of a return range deck being played, but yeah, nothing matters here. This form up could be committed. Even without the form up, you don't even need to do it, to be honest. Like, it's not something you need to, it's just to win more. You keep your unit alive, you know that your opponent has 3 units, 1 mana, no way to kill you right now. And if
Aatrox gets a hit and you're at 10.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
this might be game now. Close to it anyway.
Every single combat round, Aatrox is gonna strike. If Aphrodite wants to combat, Aatrox is gonna eat 1 unit, regen 2 HPs. That's not something you can win.
Yeah, Aatrox is gonna be eating good tonight.
Mm-hmm. You see, 10 HP already. 13 mana to level up the Aatrox. I don't think we are gonna need the level up.
Oh, the catch top deck too to save the... Oh no! Oh, this is a disaster. But I mean, Aphrodite is finally the first team to have Returner Wrench played. So I think they're the real winner, honestly. So
yeah, they're the real winners. I mean, we said when we were looking at the lineups that this could have been, you know, another quote-unquote out. You know, just lose to Aatrox since it's the stronger deck, and then you go and play the mirror. Because let's be honest, both of the decks from the side of Aphrodite did the same thing, and they are 2 different iterations of Bundle City aggro, quote unquote. One, you know, standard with Jinx, and the other one with Jax. And they're gonna have to play the mirror against the real one. They're a mix of both, and now they're against the better quote unquote version. This is gonna be fun.
It's the sort of thing where, like, RPG kind of had 2 bad matchups for them, like both the Alawi Swain and the Aatrox Quinn Vayne. And of course you can't ban both, so you just have to try to 2-0 the third deck, which we see here. Aphrodite looks like they're switching over to the Jinx Teemo deck as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see which one's better between Teemo and Kennen.
We can say it's all mental, you know, because it doesn't really matter in practice. I think it matters maybe in tiebreaker. If you lose and then you go to the last series, I don't really know. Probably not, actually.
I don't think tiebreaker.
Series or no. I don't think there are tiebreakers here, actually, because you lose twice, you're out. You win twice, you're in.
Yeah, exactly.
So I immediately tell myself that I'm wrong after I say something that's really, really nice. But then we said, like, Aphrodite Spurs is playing, you know, the 2 weird versions, quote unquote, of the real one, which is the Red Pop Games one. So we're gonna see how these 2 decks fares against each other. Like, remember, Red Pop Games version is stacked against aggro. They runtime winner.
Yeah, the one of Time One is gonna flip the matchup. Just you wait.
I mean, it could flip the matchup.
It could, but it's only a one of, so it can't be that big a deal. We'll see if it comes up. But it looks like both hands are about the same. I think Red Pup is a slight edge.
Games more. Yeah, just because they have the squeaker, you know.
Exactly. You can pull Trumpet Attacker or, you know, the Von Yip mech, whatever it's called. There's a couple options.
Yeah, there is the Professor, you know, the one that gives you the 3 units potentially to go overwhelm them in board. This could be also a value mashup, you know, if you reach that point of the game where no one has cards anymore and they just need to top deck units to deal like 2 damage at a time to one another.
Mm-hmm.
Having Mecha Yordles definitely helps. Even the Shurima one is very strong.
Oh, that's not what you want to see from Aphrodite. Like, Red Pup's hand just seems to keep keeping it better and better.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to Aphrodite's. Just can go a little bit wider, and then Aphrodite has no... and passes. They don't know they have a better position than Aphrodite with this hand. That's really funny.
I think Aphrodite takes this pass every day of the week. They don't have anything to do. They just have to make them think they have something to do. So they're faking a little bit of time. They do pass Maydol, which is interesting, and they just pass.
It's a better hand, but this is just Red Pup can do whatever they want now.
Aphrodite thought, okay, maybe they just don't have anything, but instead, this is gonna be a squeaker played out. Even Professor Von Mech is very good, just as I said, this gives you the edge in value. You have many more followers. Mesh and Dash, very powerful, having impact and going against, you know, smashing the opponent's nexus over and over again through impact. And Salty Spinner could grow completely out of control. What will you take here?
I think it's Smash and Dash here. Like, I think Salty Spinner could be it, but like if you get a bad roll and they can kill with a Mystic Shot or a Harpoon, it's a bit of a problem. But the Smash and Dash, both players are just trying to count to 20. So if you can count to 20 faster, because Smash and Dash has impact too, then that's all you need. And takes the other one. Needs the value.
Professor Von Mech, yeah, I really like when they play, just because it gives you like access to random cards, and so you can see really very crazy outs. And I really like when players have to work with something out of the ordinary. To be honest, I really like it. On the other end, though, as you mentioned, Smash and Dash could have been the better option, just because it helps you run the clock sooner. Your opponent has to be aware of the 2 damage, and it's a 4/4.
Yeah, it just comes down to how quickly Red Pup can refill their hand with the higher end value stuff with the Jinx or the card draw, because it is still possible to run out of stuff in these decks.
Yeah, the squeaker now is also present on the Aphrodite Esports end. It could be used in combination with the jury rig. You know, they're gonna have to find their own value. Little Dipper is interesting. Fury or Crusher too.
It could be Fury Horn. I feel like those extra stats could come in useful, just to like have slightly better trades.
The problem is you play Fury Horn and immediately gets traded by the opponent's squeaker.
I think you're always going to have to trade down with this bonus squeaker though, just because it's going to keep growing.
What are the 3 followers? I see the Poro, I see the 3-1, the Petty Officer that we all used to play in Bilgewater. I still remember you, Ping City. I haven't forgotten. I can't figure out the middle one. I can't figure out the middle created follower.
It's the Thralls one. It's the 2-mana 2/2 Thralls. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't recognize the upper portion of the art, but yeah, I could guess it was something like, Freljord related.
Definitely looks Freljordy. But
with all the
we'll see.
magic ice.
Yeah, see, like this is initially spot where it's just like both teams are just running their units straight into each other, and then whoever gets more damage with impact is gonna come out ahead because everything's trading down. Aphrodite can go 5 wide, Red Pup goes 5 wide.
I mean, the thing is, Red Pup has a quick attack, so that's a big thing too to consider. Like, you can't trade this cannon down without a Mystic Shot right now. You don't have anything that trades into it.
Yeah, the quick attack and also just like impact. It's as long as you're always attacking with the impact, you're going to slowly whittle them down. Death by 1,000 cuts.
And speaking about 1,000 of cuts, this is a Poro.
Let's get to work.
Which one? This is Affectionate Poro, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, this is the Poro that's actually hugging Darius. I really respect the Poro for the bravery. I wouldn't dare, probably.
Yeah, definitely the bravest unit in the Trifarian Legion.
I completely agree. Let's see what's gonna be played here. I think Powder of Keg is interesting. Oh.
I thought it said Powder Cake when they played it, and I was gonna be really excited. But yeah, this makes a bit more sense.
They had a pretty good RNG too. Like they got an elusive unit out of everything.
I mean, there's technically a team to block with, but you know, it's not the best thing in the world.
Wind and thunder.
Teemo's like kind of the one edge that Aphrodite has. So you don't want to be blocking this if you don't have to, I think. Just because, like, that's a little bit of chip damage that could matter. Because, like, you know, every Teemo hit, it's 6 damage.
In like 10 rounds. But it's still 6 damage.
Yeah, 6 damage is 6 damage.
Imagine if all the shrooms go on the bottom of the deck. And then it's 0 damage.
No, well, that's when
It's
you
one.
nab the card and you deal 5 damage to you.
Any nabbers in chat? Anyone remember like the good old times when nab would rob from the top of the deck?
Oh, I
And
don't know if I played them. That sounds awful.
And then it was nerfed because then Freljord would just be bullied completely because Freljord used to buff, you know, everything with the bird and stuff, and you would just nab buffed units.
Well, imagine that against Predict. Imagine playing against like an Echo deck and they predict and then you just steal the card.
I remember the time when one of the most played cards in the deck was the 3 mana Plunder draw nab 2. That was used to, you know, level up TF very, very,
Oh,
very fast.
the spell. Okay.
Yeah, the spell.
Yeah. No, I played that card last week in free build.
Yeah, okay, it's fine.
That card's really good in free build.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't think there's a lot to say here. Like, the team is gonna go down, is gonna come down, but on the other end, we have a Clockling to block it. And of course, the Clockling can be used to tutor the Jinx, and once the Jinx comes down on the board, of course, we don't have a way to level her up very quickly, but she's a 4/3 with quick attack, which can't be blocked by anything, and we would have to blow back her, which would destroy our end if we are Aphrodite Spurs.
Aphrodite still has good blowback targets with the Flame Chompers and Returner Wrench, but Red Pup doesn't have a... It would just be a 4/3 quick attack. There's no easy way to empty this hand. Is it possibly Squeaker?
You could even skip. It's fine to skip, in my opinion. Just Squeaker. Even Squeaker is very good because, like the Mecha Yordle, especially at this point, you know, the opponent has 4 cards in hand. You're probably winning the value. Like you're already winning the value game in hand. If you get like a very big unit, for example, the Shurima one, or even the Trumpet Ecker, then there is nothing for them to do.
Yeah, those are definitely the 2 best hits in general, and also in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I mean, I never remember how the Shurima one is really called because I remember like Salt Spinner, but I think Salt
Dune
Spinner
Hopper
is
mech.
Dune Hopper, right, Dune Hopper. I mean, it makes sense.
You gotta
Just
brush
Dune
up on your
baggage.
Jeopardy knowledge. Just know all the mech rules by heart.
That's true. I should. Next step. I'm gonna go next step. I'm gonna learn their name in Japanese just because.
Oh, there you go.
No, I'm not going to do that.
No, it's not that. It's just like 2 clicks to change your client language, right?
Nah, actually true.
All right. Looks like Aphrodite's trying to get rid of this elusive just to push a bit, but it's not gonna work.
Yeah, it's really not. It's sad. You know, this is not gonna work that much. You can't even push this much damage. You have completely destroyed your hand. Like Aphrodite Spirits, no cards in hand. Their opponent have gotten 9 cards, basically full hand. One is a Squeaker, so they can even invoke Mecha Yordles. They have 2 Returner Wrenches, so they're never running out of targets. This is a very sad situation, and I don't think there's any easy way to come out.
To be
of
fair,
this.
I don't know if Aphrodite could have done too much differently to have had a good
No,
hand.
you
I think
wouldn't.
just Red Pup out a Squeaker, and you know, I was doubting it earlier, but that Professor Von Mech really turned out to be very useful, just giving you the value to trade down and still be fine. Oh,
Yeah,
there we
and
see
I
the
don't
star
think
of the
they take
show with the
another
two we
one.
mentioned. I think at this point, empty hands, you take Dune Hopper Mech.
E-
You start really pushing a lot of damage. Yep. And so we're gonna see an attack here, and Red Pup's probably just gonna trade down the whole board and shoot Teemo into Dune Hopper Mech next turn. You don't even need to shoot Teemo, it's not that scary. But if Aphrodite's inviting Red Pup, just say, yes, please destroy my whole board. I'm sure Red Pup will just jump at the opportunity. Oh,
It's
no need.
PTSD from Timo, it's potentially, you're just afraid of Shroom since you've been beaten by the Shroom deck on ladder so many times. Then you have to shoot the Timo once you see it. But of course, Red Buff games know that there is no real threat. What?
See? I told you, every Teemo hits 6 damage. Also, this is potentially more crushing with a blowback, pulling a Flame Chompers. Luckily, Aphrodite does draw another unit, but yeah. This is a lot of damage about to come through.
Yeah, I'm about to say, this is not lethal, but it's very, very close. I think this is like 9 damage to the Nexus. Just because you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
I think
9.
it's 9 damage.
Yeah, 9 damage, 9 damage.
And then that's lethal with the blowback in hand. So it looks like Red Pup's about to take the set and qualify for the proper playoffs. After they will still have one more chance if they win their next set.
Will the surprise?
Yeah, of course, Red Bull Games, one of the, coming into the tournament, they were one of the, I'm not gonna say favorite to take it all, but they were one of the upper ends, one of the teams regarded as one of the best teams. Of course, they didn't perform super well in groups. They got into Playins though, and now they qualify for playoffs. So nice for them. Of course, now it's just a formality basically. They don't have anything else to do. They just have to cast this blowback, and the game is gonna be over.
Well, I hope they stack everything onto the stack. They point 1 blowback at the opponent and 2 at yourself. That's the right way to play this. No, I think they might have done it too. Anyway, congrats to Red Pup. You're qualified. Aphrodite's got one more chance. Let's see if they can make it through later on.
Yeah. In the meantime, we are gonna see if we can hop into other matches. This series was pretty fast, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we saw one other set finish before us, but this is probably like the second or third set that finished. So yeah, we'll see if we can get another set. I mean, it definitely shows the power of, Aatrox for one, and it was a mirror match, so it's hard to say like which one's necessarily better, but the Jinx decks it's really awkward running to each other, but you can tell like there's a lot of burn and like very little unit damage happened, and it was a lot of just burn over the top or impact. So
I'm checking the spreadsheet, and TRON won against Buff Shops, so TRON is qualified to the playoffs, and Lotus Esports won against BFG Piranha. So Lotus Esports are also qualified, and now with Red Bull Games qualifying for playoffs, now the only series that I don't see the results of is Breaking Bandle versus ABG Gaming Piltover and Zone. So we'll see if we can get into that matchup. But congrats to everyone that qualified. Of course, we are gonna have a third round with the 1-1 teams going against each other to for their last chance of qualifying to playoffs. What do you think about what we have seen today from these teams?
I mean, it's still a little bit of an open field, but I think, teams have kind of figured out, okay, roughly what the meta is going to be like. And, Jax Kendon was a bit of a curveball, but most other players have definitely brought decks that are on like the top 10-ish most played. Maybe Narjin's a little bit lower, but I think people have basically figured out what the meta is. And so now it's just trying to, beat the little rock, paper, scissors for which ones you should bring.
By the way, from the quote-unquote lower bracket, I can tell you that Always Be Gaming Noxus is eliminated, BFG Marlin is eliminated, Nox Crowstorm as well. Meanwhile, TKG Washed Up, we are gonna see in the next round. They are 1-1, as well as the Castaways and Targon's Valley. All these three teams are gonna be playing in the third round today for a chance at qualifying to playoffs. I'm just giving you the results as we go, as I see them on the spreadsheet. Would you predict from these 1-1 teams that we have seen today to pass playoffs? Oh, okay. So you're gonna give me your answer later, because from production they have told us that we are not gonna see another match from this round 2. So I think we're gonna go on to a quick break before coming back for the third and final round of today.
Every time I close my eyes, a little less of you remains. I know you're slipping further from me now. Am I too far away? Tell
Every time I touch Mac. Every time I touch Mac.
Explode the sunlight here, gentlemen. You explode the universe.
Every time I touch Mac. Every time I touch Mac.
Sunlight here, gentlemen. You explode the universe.
sun, if the sunshine, let me know. All my thoughts move in the darkness of pouring down, of stone, my soul is. Should I pretend like we're just dancing in the sunlight? I'm done waiting, and every day until I realize you're the rain on my happy days. Dark cloud of the stormy rain. Stepping away, stepping away, stepping away from this fight. Hidden away, hidden away, hidden away with your light. Killing me happy, thought that was inside. Killing the hope that I had in my life. I'm sick 'cause you're wasting my time inside my. Should I pretend like we're just dancing in the sunlight? I'm done waiting, and every day until I realize you're the rain on my happy days. Dark cloud of the stormy rain. There's blood in the water, there's sharks.
Welcome back to the final set of matches for Aegis Esports Play-ins. Where I believe there's 8 teams left looking to find their final spots into playoffs. Zero, what do you think of the matches so far?
Well, I think we have seen some really, really interesting decks, you know, especially in the last series. With all the Bandle City shenanigans with the Jax being played, we haven't really seen that much of Jax outside of the Jax-Ornn synergy, so it was really interesting. I think we're gonna see a Jax being played in the series that we're about to see as well, so it's gonna be also something to look forward to. What do you think instead? Like, this is, as you mentioned, 8 teams. 4 are gonna pass onto playoffs, 4 are gonna be eliminated. Everything is on the line. Either you make it or you break it. What do you think goes through the head of the players in these moments of, you know, pressure?
I mean, it's definitely stressful, and you have to make sure, like, as a team, you know, help each other out. Make sure you're not all panicking over this, and just making sure you're still playing calm, cool-headed Runeterra.
Which is not gonna be super easy. Of course, 3 players all stressed at the same time, you know, trying to discuss what in their mind is the best outcome. Might not always be, you know, the best thing, you know, for a clean play. But here we start saying Castaways lineup, and the first deck is Nora Jhin. So different take on the Jhin Bandle City. We have seen in the last few series Jhin being paired with Nara, and now we see him paired with Nora.
Yeah, I mean, I think we previously saw some of the Nora decks were cutting Riptide Rex or just going down to 1. This one's still on 2 Riptide Rex, but with the Portal Scholar and Nora, there's a lot more emphasis on the early game and just having units on board to either push damage for the, you know, late game Jhin finishes or just ping finishes, or trade down against some of the opponents, like, let's say, Jinx decks.
Yeah, do you think in this meta this is the best option, or do you still like more the other version?
This might be a little bit better, just unless you're playing against, you know, SI, or even against, you know, PNZ trying to, like, Mystic Shot your Nora. It's not the worst thing, because that's 2 damage that's not going to your face, and you have a bit more stats on board presence. So this might be a little bit better into the current meta. But as I was talking about, the next deck we have on the side of Castaways is a Jinx deck. We've seen a couple of these already today. Again, we have the Time Wander standing out as a one of. You were saying it might come in handy. We'll see if it comes up this time.
I hope so. We've already talked about everything that there needs to be talked about on this deck. I don't think there's any more. We've basically gone through everything this can offer. So let's move on to the third deck of the Castaways, which is Bane Queen Aatrox.
This is also about the same, except we see the newly buffed Faithful Wolf Dog. I think it's what it says. Anyway, it's now a 1/2, but it forges your weapon.
It's a doggo.
Yeah, this is a bit more recurring stats than Aatrox will previously have had. You know, just a 1-3 spear or a 3-1 harp. It's going to be a bit more annoying for any of the control decks to deal with it, and it might just be better at holding down boards against aggro when you can forge a Aegis or a Darkened Spear.
Yeah, especially the Aegis, you know, how much +1 tough health can mean. Your unit goes from nigh unkillable to absolutely unbreakable. So that's gonna be fun. Let's see what their opponents are playing though. Bass Pro Shops bringing as the first deck the Teemo Jax. So I promised the Jax and the Jax is delivered.
We have yet another variant of this is technically not Jinx. We had Kennen Jax last time, now we have Teemo Jax.
It's cosplayer cross-dresser Jax.
Exactly. This is kind of the same list that we saw last time with just a bunch of, you know, a couple of weaponsmiths and a couple of the burn package with Teemo, or the Mecha Yordles. So we'll see if this deck can shine, unlike last time.
Especially they're in a promoter, you know, and at the end, another Vayne Queen Aatrox. This deck has absolutely taken the second place of the most played decks in this week. You know, as we were seeing in the stats at the start of the day, and of course, it has shown why. Super powerful against aggro. It's gonna, this deck is able to eat little units, and especially we can see like one off of Darkin Fen, just because you don't want to be, you know, raised, and you just want to have access to some healing. That's cheating, but it doesn't matter for this deck.
Yeah, that deck's definitely put in a lot of work. And as for the last deck for Bass Pro Shops, we see Jace Heimer are, well, aside from the Jhin decks that we've seen, this is a tried and true control deck with Hextech Handler to buff up all your little tech units, and Jace and Heimer to just give so much value over time.
Look how many spells. We are back into full control territory, of course. Triple Vengeance, so you can deal looking at your opponent's lineup, especially with the Aatroxes and the Darkins, of course. That's gonna be where the Vengeances are very useful. Piercing Darkness to counter the aggros, as well as Quietus, and a really lot of removals overall. So it's really nice to see control back in this shape, you know. Jace Heimer always been a very consistent deck list, so we're gonna see how it's gonna fare against some of the more modern lists.
Yeah, no, seeing those 25 spells, that's my happy place. Who needs units? Units are overrated.
Exactly, we just need end block back, you know.
Exactly. And predictions, it looks like we're all on the same page. You know, this is like the 4th time that everyone's voted the same way, so Castaways, go ahead and prove us all wrong.
Yeah, I have quite a few friends on Castaways, so I'm telling them, in Italy, we don't want to root for the friends, okay? So I had to go with Bass Pro Shops. Also, they have quite a cool lineup. I'm gonna enjoy seeing them play, so all the better.
Yeah, good luck to both teams. And we're getting into bans here. What are your thoughts on bans here?
Ooh, okay, this is interesting. This is... I think probably, you know, since Bass Pro Shops is playing like the more control, even though they have basically one control per team, because they have the same lineup, okay, in theory, because they have one control, which is Jhin Nora, even though of course Nora is much more board oriented than it would have been with Jhin Nora.
That's a mid-range deck pretending to be control.
Yeah, exactly. And on the other end, they have the Jace Heimerdinger, which once upon a time it was a mid-range pretending to be control. Right now it's much more of a control than mid-range. Like if you remember back in the day, it was actually called turret mid-range. Right now, not so much. And of course they have the Vayne Aatrox, both decks, both teams, and of course the bundle cities are one the imitation of the other. And it seems like they both had the same idea: just ban the Vayne Aatrox. We don't want the mirror. And they're not gonna play it.
Yeah, I mean, Vayne Aatrox, aside from the mirror, it's kind of good against... It seems like it's good anyway against, you know, the Jinx, Kennen, Jax, Teemo, which... Why are those the same deck and they run 2 different champions? But who cares? And aside from that, just removing key units on, you know, Jin or the Heimer Jays, it's a little rough to deal with. So here we are in the technically not a mirror match.
It is a mirror. They know it's a mirror. We know it's a mirror. Let's stop pretending. And the time winner is there to make the difference. I think it's gonna be Mulligan the way probably. It could
Probably.
be
You don't want to early.
Captain End. Could be Captain End, but I think it's gonna be Mulligan the way.
It's like, it's not going to line up to what Baspro currently has in hand, and I think that Baspro doesn't have quite as many X1s as the Jinx deck.
No, they keep everything.
Yeah.
They keep the
Ooh.
end. Okay. Full keep from the
Alright.
Castaways. So very ballsy move, we could say. They said, okay, this end is perfect. I have everything I need. But we see on the other end, like Baspro Shops is a pretty cool starting end too. They have the ability to go.
Castaway just snap pick Snass and Jazz. We didn't even see what the other ones are. Come on, you're supposed to let us casters have a bit of a look.
Oh, and here I think we could see the Geo, the Mecha Forger being picked just to play it next turn, or the Bouncer Ball just to remove a little, bit by bit those Jury Rigs, those Cattle Crabs.
Yeah, these all look enticing. I think Trumpet Techer's not quite what this version of the deck wants. I think Castaways might be happy with the Trumpet Techer, but probably one of the two drops just to smoothen out your curve for the next few turns. Seeing that you don't necessarily want to play Jax down, probably. If you can wait till he levels up and it's 3 health, that's just a little bit more annoying for Castaways to deal with.
Yeah, the bouncer is gonna be picked. Of course, the problem with the Geode is that if Baspro Shops play the Geode, then the Castaways would just answer with the Smash and Dash, which is a 4/4 unit, able to trade the 1/4 that is the Geode. So that would have been a little bit unlucky. Luckily for Baspro Shops, they chose the better option, you know, so they can go and remove this 1/1 without trading.
Yeah, I think this. I definitely see the merit for this bouncer bolt. Just
Got me good.
trying to get that down, and then we see a Jinx pick up for the side of the Castaways. It's gonna remain to be seen whether Baspro can, you know, with the fish fight, it's probably fine as long as this combat cook gets something good. But if that Jinx gets online for too many turns, it's gonna be quite annoying.
Electro Spoon is gonna deal with the Bouncer, so the team is gonna be the only unit left standing from the set of Baspro Shops. This could be a 4 damage open attack. I don't know if it's that much worth it. It's a Decimate. You could take it, but instead, it's just just gonna see the Smash and Dash development. This is a 6 damage unit that touches the board now. The strongest unit that can be developed right now. We see the Arena Promoter being played. Little Deeper could be an option. Either Smash and Dash to match your opponent's power, or Furion Crasher to buff everything that you have on the board. You could get the Little Deeper, probably.
That's too slow.
Yeah, it's very slow.
Now I'm just looking at, you know, Castaways can also play Zonite Urchin here to get an extra 2 damage now that Baspro's tapped out.
Slow just because it's discarded, so you could have played it next turn, but you would have used all of your mana to do so.
Yeah. Well, just like in terms of how wide you are in units, it seems not enough, spending all your mana. And like, there's no 1 mana Mega Yordle, so yeah, Castaway just gets to play the Zonite Urchin for free, and no, there's no punish to like Baspro going a little wider. Doesn't have 2 mana for Fish Fight. Yeah, look, this is a lot of damage, and Castaway's gonna have, well, Time Wander's 1 damage, Jinx is another 3 at least, and just top tech until the next thing. And also, Baspro still has to deal with this board.
I really like this pool, because now the Smash and Dash is gonna be able to strike again, or he has to be dealt with the fish fight next turn. This is 10 damage potentially declared on the face. It's either 10 damage or 8 damage. Let's see what Baspro Shop decides to do. I would probably block the Smash and Dash just because I can't afford to go down to 8 against this kind of deck.
You know which card I bet Baspro Shop wish they had at this moment? Time Wander.
Oh yeah, definitely. That would save them 4 damage altogether.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of funny. It's like Timer is absolutely useless for Castaway, but like Bass Pro, let's just say 4 health.
Afraid. And spoil
Yeah, just
the
deny
surprise?
Decimate with 2 mana. 5 ed. Here we see taking the more, non-efficient block in terms of units, but more efficient in terms of saving damage, of course. We see the Timo, the power of the Tito dealing damage, and thankfully for Basper Shop, they didn't take those 2 more damage because blowback is stopped from the side of the Castaways. The Jinx is gonna touch the board once they run out of mana, and this is a very scary open attack next turn if the Basper Shop don't develop more.
Yeah, I mean, so for the side of Castaways, they can still play Jinx Blowback Rocket next turn for 6 damage. So all they need to do is push 4 damage, 2 which is guaranteed because of this Smash and Dash.
Yeah, unless Fish Fight is played now, and then it's not guaranteed anymore, of course. Or you have to invest, the harpoon and pray that you find something else.
Yeah, but just fish fighting here means that you're tapping under being able to get rid of the Jinx. Is the problem?
Yeah, exactly. You need to have the fish fight to deal with the Jinx immediately. And this can help us, because we play the Jax, then the fish fight is able to kill both the Smash and Dash and the Jinx.
Yeah, I like this fast. Just you want to guarantee the Jinx. It's 3 damage. You're not dying here, so you just take the attack, swing, push your 2 damage with the little 1/1s, and you win the game. Or not. This is another option.
This is another option indeed. I mean, with the Time Winder, if you really want to use it, getting the value of the Time Winder here, you can kill the Furyorn.
Yeah, perhaps Bass Pro is a little scared of the burn that this Jax deck has, because we can see the Electro Harpoon, another one with the Banal Tellstones. So there is similar burn in this deck, but I think with how your hand is set up with the Jinx, you can afford to be a little greedy. Just know that you're the one setting the pace. You're the one putting your opponent on the clock.
Second blowback is gonna be top decked from the side of the Castaways. Now Jinx comes down. As you mentioned, we have the Jinx level up ready to go.
Oh, this blowback's going to be nasty.
This blowback is nasty. With the rocket, we kill the Furyorn, and then we attack. This is a lot of damage. No, with the blowback, with the rocket, we kill the Furyorn. We can kill the Jax. We can kill the Furyorn.
They are going to be saved a little bit due to the Banal Tellstones. What's it called? We Stand Together. There's a Targon one. What's the Banal City one called? It's the other one, but
I did the +2/+1 to 2 units.
Exactly. So they can be
I
saved.
don't remember the name.
But now Bass Pro is tapped out of having both that and Fish Fight. If they want to play Tellstones, do that. And because this is doing 3, this is guaranteeing a kill even through the buff onto, I imagine, the Jax. Oh, Bass Pro can save it. No, this doesn't work. So,
No. At what cost? If you save him, he just dies later.
Yeah, the Fury Horn will survive, but the other 2 will die. Or the Combat Cook will die.
And even then, you can't kill the Jinx this turn. This means that the opponents, like the Castaways, would get another rocket next turn, which would spell your end in any possible way. This is 3 damage plus 3 damage. This is 6 right to the Nexus. 2 are guaranteed, as you mentioned. You need to kill the Jinx now with a fish fight.
I think you have to equip the weapon onto the 3/1. Try to block the attack the best you can, and then fish fight.
No,
that doesn't even work out nicely.
No, it doesn't work. The 3/1 can kill the Jinx. Oh, this weapon. Yeah, this doesn't work.
Because the problem with
It's
fish
already
fighting
been,
here is that you lose your 4-3. The only way to fish fight is to let your 4-3 die.
And then the Furioran dies too. Because of the rocket, and then you're just dead from the attack.
Oh no, yeah, no, yeah, this is what it is. You do this, if rocket, you get to fish fight. If open attack, you get to block, smash, and dash, and then fish fight.
Yeah.
But you're still taking, I think you're alive at 1 with this line. Because you take 2 from the impact, 3 from the rocket, and 1 from the 1 health, or the Scrap Scuttler.
1 HP
you're-
is safe.
Yeah, surely you're 1 HP, and you're safe against the deck that runs 7 ways to burn you out left in their deck.
1 HP is safe, we believe.
Surely.
The rocket goes pew, and Fishbones hit the Nexus. This is Jinx from Arcane, and she has done big damage to Bass Pro Shop Nexus. Now, the board is gonna be zeroed from the side of BPS. This Jax may be leveling up, but you have to take the trades.
He's dead. The Jax is dead. There's a 4-3 and a Dream on the side of Bass Pro. They're gonna be at 1 health after this attack. And Castaway's just on top deck to any burn.
Yeah, exactly. They just need a Mystic Shot. They need any burn. Even though a blowback with 1 damage would be enough.
Yeah, I mean, these decks have enough burn for the Canadian wildfires.
E. So 1 HP and a Dream. Of course, Bass Pro Shop now has the absolute end advantage, the value advantage. But what does that matter when you are on the brink of defeat? When you are on the brink of death, you're trying to live by the skin of your teeth.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Bass Pro has a way to present lethal on this next attack turn. So he's giving Castaways 2 draws.
Oh,
that doesn't
no.
work.
It's
Wait.
not.
So no, this is fine for Castaways because all of them have impact.
All of them?
So
Most of them.
no, all the Mecha Heroes have impact. So all you need
Well, no,
is
yeah.
all you need is a unit that Bass Pro can't kill in time. Which there's no fish fight. There's only a Electro Harpoon and a Lightning Rush. So 4 health is the break point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, none of these quite do it.
Yeah. The Shadow Tech is not enough. This is literally, this is so close, okay? Because we know Castaways can win in an attack next turn thanks to the Mecha Yordle, okay? This is a very big 7-4, this is a very big
Wait.
promoter. It's not
Hold
lethal.
on.
No, it's never lethal.
Hold on.
There's no way.
Hold
Because
on.
you block 4 damage. Oh shit. Oh.
Are you?
They're 1 HP?
This is exactly lethal.
Oh yeah, true. This is exactly lethal because of the impact. Oh no. It's exactly
Bastro
lethal.
finds the line, Castaway. Is that the only unplayable card in their deck? Wow.
Oh man. No, it's not the only playable card. They could have had the Return of Range.
Oh,
Which
that's
doesn't
true.
do anything. Which doesn't do literally anything.
Well played to Bass Pro finding that line. But that was only game 1. We've got 1, maybe 2 more games left to go.
We have we at least okay BPS, which I think they were the ones bringing just 1 copy of this deck. Yeah, so we don't have to see the mirror matches anymore. Now we will have to see Heimerdinger Jace against the Bandle City Madness twice.
Yeah, this seems a little rough for Castaways to get through. You know, Bass Pro doesn't have the make a bunch of turrets card in hand, but Production Surge. But if they draw into that, you know it's going to be just a board full of 1/1s. That's
You
what they're going to hit.
you don't need Production Surge. You have Reggie. Reggie
right,
is
what?
better.
What do you need in life when you have Reggie? But you could also make a 6/6 with Brash, and that's pretty neat.
That is neat. Here, okay, this is interesting. I would just go as wide as we can potentially, because you don't want to put too much value into one single Mecha Yordle like the Salty Spinner, just because the opponent have every single card can remove it. Like they have triple, they have triple vengeance. They have piercing darkness. So let's see what they if they can.
Yeah, it's
take
a Geo
Geode.
Mecha Forcer.
Yeah,
I think it
just
makes
go
sense,
wide,
especially with
buff
this
the
hand.
units.
You have the like 2 Boom Baboons, you can get those Flame Chompers, so buff up as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Next turn you could go Bomba Bone, then you have the Rocket Harpoon to summon one of the Chompers for free. Then you have the Geode that can buff the Chompers. This is really good overall for the Castaways. Meanwhile, Bass Pro Shop's like not the best opening hand, like as you mentioned, no production surge, but you have Reggie, and Reggie can solve every game.
Yeah. Soul Harvest is a pretty good pickup for Bass Pro. Nothing particular you care to use it on, I don't think, here yet, but it's very efficient removal, especially if like you can catch a Geode Mecha Forger. It's probably just gonna be Reggie here. Reggie, you can Mystic Shot the 2/2 about to be a larger thing, possibly.
Yeah, let's see what they decide to do. You could even formula just because you don't have much ways to use your stuff, but instead Reggie is gonna be the play. You could take assembly
Another
line here.
piercing. Yeah, that's the piercing darkness. That's just gonna that piercing darkness is gonna put in a lot of work, I think. There's not many big cards inside of Castaways, but if you catch a Jinx, which we do see in hand, that's such a huge swing. Gain 5, kill a unit. And Bass Pro shuts down this entire attack.
Yeah, they're just playing control. Like really, they're just really careful about not making them getting bored out of control. They just want
Jace!
their opponent to be front. Yeah, you can just play Jace with Challenger, to be honest, just to get rid of the 0/2, just to get rid of the Chomper.
It's gonna get rid of this 1/4, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, you just play get rid of the 0/2, but yeah.
Nothing beats field testing. Let's get started.
Yeah, the Chomper is gonna die here. Then of course we play the Geode, but even then, like the Castaways are so much behind in tempo right now. It's insane. Like the Jace is on the board. We're already turn 5. You have only dealt 2 damage. This is not how you want to play this deck.
Yeah, and it's like Bass Pro is going to be able to play Piercing Darkness any turn after this. So as soon as Jinx comes down, and like Bass Pro's not going to tap out because they don't need to. There's not enough pressure yet. So Jinx comes down, heal 5, kill Jinx. It's going to be tough for Castaways to get around that.
Yeah, and of course we already see the formulas there, and formula plus formula would mean Jace leveled up. Right now, of course, they're trying to put Jace down in HPs so he can't block. But even then, like if you're Bass Pro Shops, like you're.
I think they're setting up to just get a clean kill on Jace. You buff the Chompers with Geode. But
Yeah, and then you pull it.
Bass Pro can just shoot this with High Note and block the 1/4, and it's all fine.
Yeah, if you sacrifice the Jace, you don't really care. It's a Jace. If you can get rid of your opponent's stuff, that's all the better.
If you just play the Scrap Traption, yeah, this shuts down the entire attack. Castaways can play like Jury Rig and attack, but that's so much more underwhelming.
Yeah, and as you can see, like the attack is gonna be basically fully mitigated. There's basically a situation of unit parity, but the Brash unit can't be blocked by the Jury Rig. So even if you want to go, in open for any reason, we still have the bigger unit since your opponent can block. And that will see, yeah, second Piercing Darkness spells, not like the end of the game 100%, but it's a pretty heavy, commitment on it, because if Jinx comes down and it's the only option Castaways have right now, you immediately kill her, and not only you kill her, you also heal by a lot.
Yeah, honestly, having this unit just letting you pass to your opponent, because it's kind of a lose-lose situation. If Castaways can't burn from hand, they either have to develop a Jinx into a kill spell, which they don't want to do, or they don't develop their board at all, and it's just a 1-1 to a 3-1. And Bass Pro's still fine passing here. There's no rush.
Yeah, there is some pressure, like in theory, because you're at 8 HP, but you have double Piercing Darkness, double Formula. You're not really scared of anything if you're BPS.
I don't think, yeah, well, it's, not only that, you have like decent hand reads on Castaways, because you can see the Returner Wrench, and you know that there's this card they've been holding for a while. And that Mystic Shot to start the turn is a very strange play, so you definitely know something's up. And yeah, it's just Snap Piercing Darkness, the main deck one, so there's still an unknown card. Castaway can only push like 1 damage here. Like, there's no way to get through this 3-1 in a good way.
Yeah, and you have to feel like this is almost like one of the worst things that could have happened to the Castaways. This is the do or die match. If they lose this one, they're out of Aegis for the season. So you can feel the pressure that comes from them. They needed to play, they needed to act, and they did that, Mystic Shot, starting the turn play, because they felt pressured, they couldn't do anything. And this is the chokehold that Jace Hammerdinger put you in, They have all removals, you don't put enough pressure on them, and suddenly you are super behind in the match scaling, and they have full control over the board.
Yeah, and like Swinger comes down, but it doesn't matter because there's not a single Mecha Yordle that costs 1. So this is the entire attack. If they want to poke this 3-1 with their blowback, it's pretty underwhelming. It doesn't do anything. Like, Castaway's chances at winning feel like they've been discarded along with everything else.
Yeah. And now we're gonna enter when you remember, we have seen 2 matches ago the Jhin having trouble sending the game. Like, this Heimerdinger deck doesn't have as much trouble. It just creates turrets out of nowhere and goes on from there. Like, we see second Jinx top deck. Yeah, good Castaway. You have top deck second Jinx. It doesn't matter. You play the Jinx, she's dead.
No, it does matter. If Bass Pro isn't careful, Castaway can play Jinx into blowback, and that wipes the board.
Ooh, and now they
However,
could actually...
I think because of the action economy, I don't think, like, if Castaway passes here, Bass Pro passes here. So if they play Jinx, Bass Pro kills her. So Castaway's kind of forced into playing June Hopper mech, which then means that there's no Jinx this turn. I don't think there's a way out of this bind.
Yeah, let's see what they decide to do. And June Hopper is gonna be the play, as you mentioned. No Jinx here. The formula is gonna come in. First elusive is there. Production surge as well.
There's 2.
Yeah, you have to feel like this game is approaching very, very, very fast ending, especially since the turrets from now on are all gonna have elusive.
Yeah, there's just also Piercing Darkness plus Vengeance for Bass Pro. So, Castaway can try all they want to, get a kill on Heimer with blowback plus rocket, but yeah, this is going to be Piercing Darkness, Vengeance.
Yeah, and there is nothing left to do. They could still get rid of Heimer plus a turret, Like, they can kill the 3-1, the Heimer, the the first elusive turret, but there are still 11 elusive damage they can't deal with.
It just doesn't matter though, because like, you know, Bass Pro's gonna wait, and I honestly, ooh, wait, I see a funny line. All right, so this happens. Bass Pro doesn't want to play the turrets, right? So Castaway is going to pass on their rocket, forcing Bass Pro to discard their turrets.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And
gonna happen 100%.
I mean, okay, they still lose, but
Oh, no, okay, they just cast the rocket, I guess. So now they're completely free to play the turrets, and yeah, Castaways are gonna lose, but it was a nice effort. Second
It was
Jinx
lose-lose.
was sculpted. Yeah, there was no out to win the game from that point onwards. Double turrets are gonna graze the board alongside a production surge to get the 0-1 elusive turret randomly there just to give our
It's just a little
everything
blocker.
challenger. Yeah, just another blocker. And so Castaways are gonna surrender. Basper Shop is a team that qualifies to the phase of playoffs.
yeah, well done to them. Their lineup seemed pretty strong.
They really did.
Very well.
I mean, they are all good players. You know, we have
course.
followed, if I believe, MTax, then of course we know Aikido, but you have to feel like even their opponents were very, very good players. At this point, when we look at Playins, especially the later parts of Playins and of course in playoffs, everyone is very good. Everyone has a lot of experience, especially in Aegis and in team play. And it's really these scenarios with collab sets that can throw curveball at players because it's not something they practice regularly. But I'm very pleased to see that these teams could adapt and gave us such a good showing of Legends of Runeterra today.
Yeah, I mean, they're good players, but like this sort of format, it's a huge mix of all sorts of things. There's the fact you're playing on a team, so you have to work with others. There's, you know, not just playing well in game, but having good meta reads overall, so you're picking the right lineup. So it's kind of a nice blend of all these different things, which you don't always get tested on necessarily in competitive formats.
And of course, in playoffs, the format is going to change again. It's going to be the Iron Man. I call it the Iron Man format that everyone loves. So a person can completely sweep the opponent's team. It's very fun, at least to me. That's going to be where we see the real upsets and, you know, legendary solo runs from players or legendary reverse sweeps. That's going to be fun from next week onwards. But let's see if we have any other matches to opt into of these last 4 best of 3s that we're playing. Apparently there were no other matches, and so I think for today we are done, Fansora.
I guess so. So congrats to all the teams that were able to qualify towards playoffs. We don't have a full list, but at the very least, Lotus Esports, Breaking Bandle, TRON, Red Pup, TKG Watched Up, and Bass Pro. There's 2 other teams that I've missed, but congrats to all those teams who made it to playoffs. And I guess we'll see them next week to face on the other top seeds.
See you next week. Even though I'm probably not going to be here, but anyway, see you next week.
See ya.